Good morning. Welcome. My name is Jessie Jagpal. Thank you for joining me and welcome to my channel. So today I have another ghost story for you guys, a horror story. I'm gonna try not to take too long because I have exactly 15 minutes before I have to head out to work. So let's go ahead and get started. I have my popcorn, yum, for breakfast. And then I have, if I fall over, oh my gosh. Okay, I have coffee. I always have coffee. Dunkin' Donuts. Too much information? Probably. Nothing like warm coffee in the morning with like way too much sugar. Okay, guys. So I'm expecting balloons in the mail today, this evening. So hopefully I usually do 2 videos per day. So hopefully by the video I make this evening, I can have a balloon for you guys to begin. So this story takes place in England, North England, North London, to be more specific, in 1977. I'm sure some of you are familiar with this story. So it's the Enfield, I don't know how to say this word. It just has weird letter combinations that I would just not know how to pronounce. Poltergeist, Poltergeist, Poltergeist. I don't even know what that is, but what that would mean. But apparently, for the purpose of the story, this being, this supernatural paranormal activity that was present in this house, that was haunting the house, was given this name, Enfield Poltergeist. So in 1977, the family, which was a mother and her children, I believe there were 3 children, were reported to have heard and seen things in this house in North London, the suburb of Enfield. So I believe Enfield is also a location. So to be more specific in the detail of what was taking place, it was a 3-bedroom home, and I'm not going to give you the exact address. The mom was divorced, 40-year-old divorced Peggy Hodgson, and her 4 children, Margaret, who was 13, Janet was 12, John was 11, and Billy was 7. So there were 4 of the children. So most people considered Peggy a very nice individual. She was very pleasant to be around, very caring, very loving. She, introduced herself to everybody. Whoever knew her said that she was, a really nice person. So the first incidences began on August 31st, 1977 at around 9:30 p.m. at night. The children, specifically Janet and John, heard shuffling in their bedroom. So their mom entered the room and they began hearing knocking sounds in the room. The chest of the drawers moved 8 inches. Wow, that's a lot of specific details. Across the room without any apparent physical contact. They immediately went to seek for help because, that's exactly what you would do in a situation like that. People that just kind of let it go, I think that doesn't make sense to me. So they went and got help, and people arrived, and I guess what they ended up doing was not much. People couldn't really do much. They were able to report it to the police, but moving on the next couple of days, marbles, toys, such as Lego blocks, started to fly around the house. They witnessed things throughout the day, things like that, things flying off the walls, like photographs. On 4th September, they again try to seek out help to figure out what was going on. Various different people that dealt with paranormal activity were contacted, just to see. Again, they got a book out of it. They got some Daily Mirror, which was a media company. They got some news out of it. So again, doors and drawers opened on their own, doors, chimes that swung, objects that jumped, marbles that flew. And you guys have to remember, like, just from my previous basic, simple research that I had conducted, there was people stated that for paranormal activity or ghosts to be able to do things like that, it takes a lot of energy, like, to make their presence known, right? So they're around us, but if you see a full-blown figure and they're inflicting pain on you, that takes a lot of energy, a lot of whatever they have gathered up to do something like that. So either you've really pissed one of them off, like, a lot to where they're like physically torturing you, or you've gotten yourself into some wrong things, or like they're gonna do more of, you know, this sounds a little more typical of what you would expect of like a haunted house, rather than a person being you know, themselves being haunted. Does that make sense? So the marbles flew, like I stated, doors would open and close. Again, they just go into more detail. So things would disappear, like money. Small fires would start up at the house. There were written messages left around the house, not by people, apparently. Yeah, so again, it was a lot of just these different things occurring throughout the house. They did hear a voice. So the most terrifying thing I think they actually got on tape was that they heard a voice of a man. They got it on tape. They heard a voice of a man coming through one of the daughters or one of the girls' mouth. So it was obviously wasn't her voice. So they have it on her tape. It's like an older man speaking through the girl. And I think that's pretty creepy. So to take over this young child's body to get your point or your voice across, that was something that took place. There was a lot of investigation that took place in the late 1970s on the case. Let's see. You can go into full-on details about this stuff. I'll give you guys more information. So Peggy, the mom, died in 2003. Her older son, John, died in 1981 at age 14. Janet, one of the daughters, left the home at 16, married young, and suffered the loss of her son when she was aged 18. So Peggy Hodson, she started avoiding the publicity and media after the incidences that took place in 1978, and she believed in everything that took place. I guess they were coming up with other justifications of why it could have taken place, but she was very strong on what she saw and what she had gone through. Billy, one of the young child at the time, remained largely indifferent to the events. Janet and Margaret have made brief appearances on television documentaries insisting on the actual occurrence of the phenomenon, so they do believe in it. So Janet now is age 45. So she mentioned having been bullied at school as a result of the incidents, being nicknamed Ghost Girl. She also mentioned having played with the board, I think it's called the Ouija board, before the trouble flared up. She said she had been unaware that she went into trances until shown the photographs. I knew when the voices were happening, of course. It felt like something was behind me all of the time. They did all sorts of tests, filling my mouth with water and so on, but the voices still came out. The levitation was scary because you didn't know where you were going to land. I remember a curtain being wound around my neck. I was screaming. I thought I was going to die. So after Peggy Hodgson died, again, I'm reading this directly, I'm sorry guys, but there's a lot of information, way too much information for me to cover in the amount of time I have. So I want to go through this as quick as I can. So it seems like Janet, she's still alive. She looks like suffered the most and seems to be responsible for some of these occurrences. Apparently the Ouija board is something that you should obviously not mess with, and over and over, time and time again, you see these people testing their limits and going and messing around with things like that. So and then after Peggy Hodgson died, another family moved in of 4, Claire Bennett, who stated, "I didn't see anything, but I felt uncomfortable. There was definitely some kind of presence in the home. I always felt like someone was looking at me." Her sons would wake up at night hearing people talking downstairs about the house's history, and she said that the family moved out after just 2 months. So yeah, so in this case, it wasn't the people that were haunted, it was the house, and definitely creepy stuff there. So I hope you guys enjoyed somewhat of a brief overview of this story, and let me know your thoughts. And yeah, hopefully I'll have a balloon pop for you guys by this evening. Yeah, that's all I have for you guys. Have a wonderful day, and it is Monday, so enjoy your day. Mwah.